Hello and welcome to the third update of building the ELR. Got a lot to get through in this update, so I'm going to rush it, but I thought I'd start off with one of my favourite new additions, Union of South Africa. And it's quite apt that she's arrived here this week because she's currently at the real ELR, running some of the Christmas specials, I believe. Some nice footage of her on the main line and the ELR on the YouTube as it happens. But yeah, I'm quite pleased. A few minor issues with this is when I bought them. You can see a wonky nameplate. Stickers aren't right. Another wonky sticker. Not got a crew. And on the front, that should be on the side, and it's the wrong way around. But anyway, I'm going to do some work, get that sorted out. Bit of fettling, I believe is the correct term. Anyway, she runs like a dream. I thought, actually, whilst we're on the subject of running, I'll show you what I'm currently using to power the locos. Yeah, I know. Old school. These were recently donated by somebody, and they'll do for now whilst I wait for my new laptop. Yes, this is going to be a DCC layout. We've run the buses for DCC, but as we stand at the moment, I'm currently running it DC. Hopefully in the next 2 weeks, laptop should arrive, everything should go DCC, we get the chips in and away we go. I will get on to that later on. So, I'll give you a quick flyby. Bit of a running session as well. You have to bear with me, I'm using dodgy controls. As you can see, she's one of the quietest locos I've got on the layout. And she runs like an absolute dream. Heading off down to Barron Street at the bottom. Bring her back. Notice that she's also carrying the correct support coach as well. Just so happened I had one in the coach collection, so I think these two are now paired up for life. A few modifications going to be needed to the support coach. New number, different colour roof. That's pretty much it. So that's Union of South Africa. And take her out a shot. She's currently just backed up onto board 2. Keep getting my finger out of the way. I'm going to bring in the next newbie. If you've been keeping an eye on the Facebook updates, you'll have seen both these locos, so this will be no news to you. But 4106 has joined us. Atlantic conveyor. It's a Lima model. It's not the best detailed. And it's currently unweathered and currently has a buffer missing, which I didn't know, and has kind of brassed me off a little bit, but I'm sure I'll be able to pick one up from somewhere. With it being a Lima model, we have the usual Lima issues from early edition Lima models, namely she's not a particularly quiet loco, but she runs. And not only does she run, she'll pull a full rake of coaches as well, which is pretty astounding. As you can see, slow her down. She's currently just pulled 7 coaches, which is pretty much the limit for the station that I'm building. Again, size of it, I'll get onto that later on, but yeah, 7 coaches is pretty much as we're going to be able to take on here. 7 coaches, 2 locos. That's Bury Bolton Street rammed. I'm not going to get anything else on, but that's pretty prototypical for what they would run in special events. So that, that's all I need. I bet you're wondering where all the carriages have just pushed off to, aren't you? And as you can see, there's the joining the board, and we have new platform. Oh yes, new platform. A little glimpse of something else I'm going to talk about. But still, before we get to the new platform, let's move down here. Let me just check my list. I have a list now of stuff I have to get through in this update. There is quite a bit. So I've done them two. Done that. Right. We have issues. Now that I've finally got them, I've been able to do a proper running session. And I've come across a few minor issues to do with gauging. Again, yes, I had the problem with the bridge. Now I'm having problems with the platforms. This turnout here, it comes down here and across onto here. Anything bigger than, say, a class 33, the front edge of it clips here. When it comes in on this line and it swings in, the front edge clips here. Now, I mentioned in the last one that I've changed the profile angle on the platform there to give it a much more gradual drop, and I wasn't sure whether I was keeping it or not. That's nowhere near as steep. So what I'm going to do is drop it back 2 more block that way, and then start the stoop from there down. Hopefully that should cure the issue of any locos catching on this bit when they come in. Time will tell. I've made, this is the second attempt at this now. Yeah, this is driving me up the wall and all. This is the shed, the Group 460 shed. On the last edition you saw, I had a slightly smaller one. This is slightly bigger now. I've gone 1 centimetre wider and given the bays a little bit more space. I've also figured out that this particular line here is actually is not straight. If this was straight, everything would fit, and because it's not, things aren't fitting properly. Best way I can describe, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but it has a slight kick to the right once it comes out of the point, and you can see it's not central where it goes through. So that section of track there is going to be lifted and pulled a little bit to the left and then reattached. Then I'll try the gauging again on the shed, see how it rolls. But from my initial testing, I think we've got this. It's in the right position, it just needs making slightly shorter. Now this is currently big enough to fit a coaching. Now it's having a 4MT standard in there, which is 185mm long, which means I can basically cut it to there if I wanted to, and it would still fit. So I'm going to, obviously we've got this pipe that comes down here yet, so I'm going to basically cut the end off this and put a new one of these on the end, and then cut the tracks back so that everything fits nicely. I should be able to slide this back even more a little bit as well, and that should give me some even better clearance on the points, which is where the main issue is. It's not when locos go straight back in that's an issue, it's when they come out onto that point section there to traverse onto the other line, they clip. It clips the doors, so it's proved a bit of a pain in the backside, but I think I've got round it now. Now, as you can see, there's 3 bars that have been glued into this. They're basically what they're going to be is the support for the running gear for the slidey up doors. There'll be one just on the inside of the piece of U-channel that will come up, curl round, and be glued to the roof. There'll be a piece of I-channel on the centre support going up, and again glued to the roof, and then there'll be another piece of U-channel on this side here, so that the doors have something to slide in, up and across. And then we'll be putting the motor gear at the back and the servos underneath and everything. I might even put the servos inside here, I don't know. It depends how much space I've got. I think the key to this is I'm going to buy 897, which is the loco that lives in that shed. It's currently just been finished, put back together, and is going through its testing phases at the East Lancs right now as we speak. So quite apt that I should buy that loco and get it on the layout. So I think that's probably going to be the next edition sometime in the next couple of weeks. Right, moving on. We have a house. Yeah, terraced house. It's all very nice. Chimney pots. Made of red brick. Sits on the bridge, as you can see. That's exactly where it would go in real life. We're still missing our stone wall segment here that I haven't managed to put in yet. Not at time. Slight problem. It's not a brick, it's made of stone. I bought the wrong one, and then assembled it, and then fitted it, and thought, hang on a minute, that doesn't look right. When I looked at the photos, it's made of stone. Now, luckily Metcalf do a kit exactly the same as this, but it's stone. So this will get put somewhere else on the layout, and I'm going to replace this with a stone one. Should be tomorrow, actually. Hoping, provided I can get in town, but I have to go in town for some other problems. Get to them later on. Right, moving down. Right, this section here, not happy. Been doing my calculations, working out where everything's going to go, and these two pieces of track here are in the wrong place. They're much too tight. They need to be moved about 2 inches to the left, as we're looking now. The reason for this is, on this section here, the board that's going to come out from there and across there to take you over to down towards Haywood Castleton area, the board is going to be the same width as this one. Now this board is 610mm wide, so bolted from that corner there to there, 610mm is roughly there. Now I do want these two pieces of track to be at the closest side of the board from where you stood observing. However, that particular piece of track is going to be floating in midair, so what I've got to do is unpin this section here that runs down here, and I'm going to run them a little bit wider so they come to about there. That will give me more space here to get the scenery in, because that isn't right. There's nowhere near enough space. The spacing from the signal box, there is actually a path that comes out the signal box and then goes across the lines and then along and under the bridge, but getting that to scale is going to be extremely difficult, simply because of the way things are. I'm having to crush everything down, so I'm going to work on this tomorrow. I'll put updates on Facebook, on the group, so you can see how I crack on with it, but yeah, it'll go. But anyway, up here, same problem. Points aren't in the right place at all in comparison to where the signal box is. The first set of turnouts starts exactly where the signal box ends, so that should basically be there, which would mean the point on this side that then accepts it, which goes there, which is going to leave me a problem with the point motors, because it's going to be right underneath the main support for the board. So I'm going to have to try and figure out how to get around that problem. Now, as you've probably seen, we have a piece of finished track. I wanted to go at the ballasting and painting and scenery and grass and stuff, and I fancied a bash at it, so I just got a scrap piece of wood and had a crack, just to see how it's done. It's come out reasonable. I'm pretty happy with it actually. It just needs painting black down the centre for oil spillages, but I've no oil spillage paint at the moment. I'm just waiting for it to come. Once it's come, I can finish it off. What I'm going to do is attach a couple of pieces of white at the end of the track there, and I'm going to use it for I'm going to use it for DCC cording. As a piece of test track, basically. I'll put my locos on there and set them up. That's the plan. But this is going to give you a rough idea of what the scenery and ballasting is going to look like. I tried a few different methods of ballasting, some of them better than others, let's put it that way. I wasn't overly impressed with this idea of just using neat PVA glue and washing up liquid. When you try squirting it on, it does still pool a little bit before it seeps in, and as a result can lift bits of ballast out, and you end up with hollows. Let me see if I can get a focus on that. You see the hollows? It's like capillary action, it sucks the ballast out from under the track. What I've found is you're much better off with isopropyl alcohol and actually wetting the ballast first using that, then go over with the PVA, because you can still push it about when it's got isopropyl alcohol and it doesn't stick to your fingers. So yeah, I'm going to do some how-to videos next year. We'll get into that in a minute, but yeah, so that's roughly what the track bed's going to be looking like. You know, we've got a reasonable piece of track there, so you can get a good idea what the ballasting will be like, and that's the right ballast for what I'm going to be using on here as well. The track over the bits where there is no sitting trains on the running sections is a lot cleaner. This is being designed as obviously a piece of track where trains park regularly, so there'll be auto spills and everything on here, but in the real life it won't be as dirty. Right, I've covered all that. I'll go back to my list. Don't tell anybody I've got a list. Let me see. I'm not joking you either, genuinely got a list. Right, track mods, we've done that. Done the house. Right, so about time I showed you board 2. Ta-da! Today's project has been doing the foam board supports for the platform. So I think you're getting a gist now that that's the platform. Now, down the bottom end of the layout, let me just have a quick walk down here. Right, this is all got the station building, you've got the bridge, you've got shops on the other side, the entrance to the car park for the museum, the ramp up on the right hand side going up to where the station building is, you've got the car park here, you've got the canopies, you've got the steps, you've got a cafe, you've got a toilet block, there's 1,001 buildings on here. Oh, and the pub. We can't forget the pub, can we? No. Right, so the pub goes on this side. I'm going to do prototype foam board buildings for now, just to get the size right, the gauge right, and then I might make them out of plastic card, or I might just face the foam board. We'll just see how far a level of detail I want to go to on this. Yeah, we'll talk about that. This layout is huge, and I mean huge, huge, huge. Much bigger than I originally planned, and I could never have imagined just how big. These are 2 boards. Each one is 2.4 metres long, so there's just short of 5 metres worth of board just in this section alone. 5 metres. Let me just grab a piece of paper. I know it's a bit rough, this. Don't laugh. This is the layout plan. The 2 boards that are currently in the bedroom being built are that one and that one. Okay. So yeah, we've still got all that to build yet. That's a lot. I'm reckoning on calculations 20.5 metres long. It's going to be probably just over 6 metres wide at its widest point, 3 metres at the bottom. Since this was drawn, I've come to the conclusion that especially in this section here, I'm going to split Baron Street Yard into 2 boards and the back end of the coach works. So there won't be 2 there, that one and that one, there'll be a 3rd one. So that'll actually be 3 lots of 2.4 metres, which means I'm going to then have to extend Castleton Yard. What a shame, that's such a shame. We have Castleton Mainline Station here, we have the triangle there, that is the entrance to the Metrolink. Now this is going to be the only undercover section of the layout that the public won't see, and that's a yard for us to put on guest locos without anyone seeing, which can then be brought up into Castleton or sent out into Castleton Station or sent out through Castleton Yard and then onto the LR network. We can also bring stuff on and off the Metrolink from that line there as well. So what I intend to do, if you remember in the last video I showed you the ballasting train that was coming in through Castleton Yard and getting onto the network. It will go through Baron Street, past Buckley, through Baron Street and onto the Metrolink there, basically bringing it back to us. This is this section here where we're going to control the layout from, this area here. So it'll be a bank of monitors, computers, you name it, it'll all be inside here, and this is where the nerve centre of the layout will be. We are talking a humongous piece of kit, this. There is no way I can keep this in my house. So as of 2019, next year, next week, same thing, I'm going to be looking for a new home for this thing. Now I'm thinking of starting up a model railway club based in Bolton, with this being the primary layout. I'm thinking about it. Whether I do or not, that's another question. But that's for 2019. Either way, this thing needs a home. Can't stay here. So that's next year. But yeah, moving down here. There's a bit of a mistake there. Them two are the wrong way around. Oops. But never mind, you get the gist. So from here, there'll be another board with a little pop-out board there. That'll be Bury Transport Museum. That's the next board along down there. Coming along, we've got Burr Station, and then we'll have the Somerset Viaducts. I thought that would be a lovely board to do with the viaducts and the river and that. Scenery on that's going to be substantially good. I'm looking forward to making that one. Somerset Station, which obviously will be there, that'll be there. Then we're going to come through this section here and then into Ramsbottom Station. Now Ramsbottom Station is on a corner, just so happens it's on a corner, so it works out nicely for me there. And we come off Somerset Station, so Ramsbottom Station split over two boards as well, which means we can do some, like we've done with this, Bolton Street split over two stations. It'll look good. Then we've got Irwell Vale, and then into Rawtenstall Station. Again, split over two boards. So yeah, it's a monster. 20 odd boards to build. These are two. These two alone have taken enough time. And at that end, I've come to the decision. I did say earlier on that the signal box, I wasn't happy with it. It was a Metcalfe kit, and as good as the Metcalfe kits are, it's not correct to the actual signal box that's in position. So I was going to make a plastic card one. I've made the decision not to. I think what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to build Metcalfe buildings like this and use them in any places where I can actually put a Metcalfe building in there without causing too much issue. Later on down the line, when all the boards are built and I've got time on my hands, go back through and start scratch building the individual buildings exact to what they are in real life. I think it's more important to have a running network that looks okay than have two boards done in 3 years with everything absolutely perfect. I would lose interest quickly. To put it simply, I would just lose interest quickly. I want to run trains, and that's one of my main priorities. So I think that's going to be the way forward. Maybe down the line, if we start this railway club, people and anyone comes along who's good at scratch building buildings, they can knock them out for fun. I don't care, as long as they look good and they'll get on the layout. There's still another building to go here as well. I've got baseboard construction. I put some legs on this week. Excuse the washing. That's actually all clean, just can't get in the wardrobe because of this thing. We've put legs in, and I've used coach bolts, and underneath, if you can see, focus please, there we go, wing nuts with a washer for easy removal. Now there's going to be another piece of wood coming down to about here that comes upside here and up to about there, and that's going to have the back. This is the back of the layout, so that's going to have the scenery on it. It'll also give me somewhere to put the jacking points, so that I can plug into the layout using the DCC option. I can plug into the layout anywhere I want on any board. So that means I can have one board set up in the bedroom. I can do some work on it. I think, right, I need to test that point. I need to test that signal. I can jack in anywhere I like down the line and test that set. So that way I know that even though I can't assemble the full layout together in one go, I can test every single board, set everything up so that when it is put together, everything works. That's the plan. What else is there? Let me have a look at my list. Done that. Right, last but not least, the biggest change to 2019. These layout videos, poor sound, poor quality videos, poor quality editing. Well, editing is non-existent. That's all going to change. When the laptop comes, I've got some decent video editing software, and I'm going to start upgrading the way that this is done substantially. I want to get down to the ELR, do a lot of filming down there, I'm going to be using a drone to film some footage. I'm going to be talking to some of the drivers, some of the staff at the ELR, some of the volunteers. I want you to get a good feel of the actual railway itself and how it works, which will help you understand how I build the layout. Because I want to build this as operationally as close as possible to how the East Lancs actually works. And I'm hoping I can take you on that journey. I mean, East Lancs is an amazing railway, it really is, and there's a lot of very dedicated, hard-working volunteers that give their entire lives over, basically, to make sure these trains run. And I want you to meet these people. So 2019 is going to be a big year for this layout, and these updates should become much better, because then I can start doing editing. I can show you pictures, so I can show you that shot now down there, and then I'll be able to cut to a picture that I've actually taken and show you how close a replica the layout actually is to the real thing. That will improve these layout updates massively. Also, during the construction of this, I've been doing a lot of filming of how the track was laid, how the baseboards were made, how I've wired it up, platform construction. I've been filming them all the way through, but because I've no editing software, I can't show you. So hopefully in the new year, when my laptop comes and my editing software is on, I'll be able to start editing these up and doing some how-tos on how I've actually created all these things. It's like the signal gantry is a great set of videos. That's actually two separate kits that looks nothing like that. And then yet, when you look at that and you look at the real thing, they're almost identical. So, you know, it gives you a good idea on how you can, I think it's called kit bashing, I think that's the correct terminology, on how to do that. So yeah, 2019 is going to be a good year. Right, I've covered everything except one pretty important thing. I have a little visitor to the ELR at the moment, a little visitor, blooming massive visitor. Just like to introduce you to this. This is one of Andy's locos, and it is a stunning piece of kit. In my opinion, one of the best locos on the layout. Well, it is the best loco on the layout, especially for drive. It's a Bachmann 66-200. Now, it's here for a repaint. When he first asked me to do this, I expected an eBay battered 66 that was in need of a repaint. What I didn't expect was to get a loco in this condition. It is stunningly good. You've got to see this go. Let me just get on the controller. Those of you who've got one of these, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Silent. And so smooth. Oh, need to do a point change, just hang on, there we go. Cab lighting, DCC ready. Beautiful. And I've just crashed into the signal box. See, if I had editing software, I could get rid of that. Oops. Anyway, you get the idea. Reverse. Oh, I'll tell you what I can do. I can show you that point problem. Let me just see. I'm not as yet fitted. I've got 8-point motors for Christmas. I think there's 60 sets of points on here. So I've got half what I need. I need to get the other half in the new year. As soon as I do, I can get the points wired up. Right, that's that way. Right. Now, cleared it nicely. Dink. So, you can see the problem. The swing. The platform is just too high and too close to the point, which is causing an issue, which means I can't basically back any loco. That's the main running line there comes from over here. That's Berron Street, the one closest to the signal box. That's the main line to Berron Street. The other two are carriage sidings. If I want to get anything from Berron Street Yard onto platform 2 here, there are 3 ways of doing it. Number 1, the easiest route, which is straight down there, come along this, and onto platform 2. I can't do that with this loco because it hasn't got the turning circle. So I have two other options. I can either run down platform 3 or 4 all the way down to the bottom of the yard onto the next board along and use the crossover point there to send it back down onto platform 2, coming all the way back down here. If there's a rake of carriages there, that's out of the question. The other option is to back the loco onto platform 3, send it off up onto the Haywood loop and use the crossover point there to then bring it onto the single line track and then back along again on the inside line to bring me onto platform 2. Arsing around, something I really don't want to do. At the end of the day, there's a reason that set of points is there, and that's to get these locos onto platform 2, should they be needed. I don't want to come along later on down the line after I've done all the ballasting, I've done all the weathering, all the painting, and then try to make change to the platform. It's going to happen now. I'm going to do it now whilst I've got the opportunity to. So that's one of tomorrow's jobs. So hopefully we can fix that problem. Now, back to the 66. I am so getting one of these. The East Lancs did have two 66s on back in the day, pulling these wagons as well, funnily enough, when the Metrolink was being built for ballasting. I could get away with it, but I think what I'm more likely to do, just let me show you. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's going to be given a new livery, Evening Star, and it's going to be do this to such a beautiful logo. It's such a beautiful logo, but I'm going to have to, unfortunately. But it'll be worth it because when it comes out, it's going to look absolutely stunning. Yeah, so that's basically your layout update up to date. Bit of information on what we're going to do in the future, and you've seen the work progress this week, which has been pretty good. I'll not be doing any more of these layout updates this way. I'll be doing them fully edited next time. Hopefully, much better quality. That's going to be in the future, so probably about another 2 weeks. In the meantime, I'll keep you updated on the Facebook page. Any new additions, any substantial movement in the scenery, anything like that, I'll keep you up to date. But the next time you'll hear me, or should be in about 2 weeks' time, with a proper video update. So anyway, I shall leave you with a shot of when it zooms in. There you go, 4106, and we'll pull out of the sheds. Let me just pull onto the powered tracks. I haven't done the droppers on this section of track yet, so it works for me right now, that, because with it being a DC layout, I could never have all 3 locos on powered tracks at the same time because they just all run at the same time, which would be annoying. So okay, thanks for watching. Like and share. The more followers, the better the group is. And see you all next time.